Oh yeah, it's me. What's good, everyone? It's Marcus or Pink.
What up? What up? It's Charles or Chuck.
What's going on? You got Matt or Haz.
And VoiD!
Oh God, he blew
Yippee!
it. Oh man, he did it wrong. He's never seen the show before.
Is there a right way to do it?
Yes, the same way we've been doing it for almost 200 episodes, if you can believe that, Charles.
Golly.
Isn't that insane? What's going on, everyone? Gavin is still in Japan doing his thing. We're obviously gonna be talking about Mr. Gavin throughout a lot of this episode. Obviously, that's our guy. Did amazingly at Kagaribi, of course. A lot of players, a lot of big results to talk about from Kagaribi. Biggest tournament of all time. Obviously, going to be talking about it. We got some comments from last episode's YouTube that Charles is going to be going over, and some top tweets from the weekend. Again, one of the biggest brackets, one of the biggest social media weekends that we have. But before we do that, how we doing around the horn? VoiD. Start with the guest. How you doing, VoiD? What's going on?
Oh, in general, I'm good.
Yeah, man. Talk about yourself, bro. Go off.
I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, of course, which has been fun. But of course, still love watching Smash. And yeah, I mean, last weekend was just last weekend was great. Weekend before that was great. I'm sure you guys already talked about Level Up.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Kagaribi, top 192. Not even that. Top like 256. Like banger after banger after banger.
Essentially, right when it got to top, right when sets got to best of 5, absolutely crazy. That's when all the stuff started going down. So yeah, it was dope, and it was cool. I mean, this time, me and VoiD have been to a Kagaribi in person, so definitely felt the FOMO. But it was cool just watching history go down. You know what I mean? Like most stacked tournament, it was cool to watch party. We actually watch partied on Watch the Throne, on the Throne GG on Twitch, the Throne GG on Twitch, and we did a watch party there. It was really fun, and VoiD came through, hung out a little bit. We had Pink, we had Haz, Bam, but majority of the time it was me and TK. But yeah,
Saying we had Bam is
we did
generous.
have Bam. He was there.
We did. That is he is factually correct, but you know,
he was there. Yeah,
he did show up. Yeah, dude, I love doing that watch party. I thought it was super fun. I'm always watching those tournaments anyway. Usually it's on Phil's stream, so it's like a watch party of one, and it's Philip, which is great. He does great watch parties, but I thought it was so fun to hang out and talk about, like, goof around and talk about Smash and, like, you know, just kind of couch style commentary like we do at Throne or like we used to do. You know, obviously. Sorry, my dog's barking. Hold up. Like we used to do at Summit. There we go. See? Good save. But yeah, I thought it was great, man. I had such a blast, dude. Yeah, it was an amazing time. I'm still paying for it, I think. My sleep schedule has not bounced back. Falling asleep when the sun is rising and the birds are chirping, not for me, man. I don't know. How you doing, Marcus? What's going on?
Dude, shout out to all the East Coasters, bro. You guys sleep schedules are jam.
Bro, the whole time we're doing this watch party, Chuck's just like, y'all tired? What?
I'm ready to roll.
Bro.
Charles, it was like 9 p.m. for him, by the way. It was like 4:30 in the morning, and Charles was like, guys, it's like 8:30 here. I feel great.
I was like, bro,
yo, around 10 though, I started getting a little sleepy.
You were like, oh man, I need an energy drink. It's like 10:30.
I was like, what? We're sitting there. Like,
I usually go to sleep around 8 or 9, so I can go to the gym at like 5 a.m. To be fair.
Ooh, okay.
To be fair. So it was pretty late for me. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, right. I'm good. I watched pretty much all of that tournament and all of like the pre-locals and everything leading up to it. I'm like weirdly torn because I'm like kind of sad, but I'm kind of happy because I was like, Gavin's probably going to do well. Also, I did say that he would top 8 Kagaribi 2 weeks ago. I did say that. I said he wouldn't top 8 level up, but I said he would top 8 Kagaribi.
Nice. I felt good about that too, to be honest with you, which we can talk about in more detail.
Really strange, but
I felt really good about him going into Kagaribi, and I told him that too. Yeah. Like I was feeling really good. He having a good bracket a little bit, or potentially having a good bracket if no big upsets, that does help. And I think he does like. Sorry, I guess we're diving into it now. But when he's in a mode where he can just sit and play and like really lock in, like when he won Summit, right? Like all he was doing was playing Smash for like 5 or 6 days straight. I just think he really thrives in that environment. He's like one of the best, learners, and I think he takes a while to warm up too. Is a thing with him. I don't know if that's like factual or just something I kind of feel as his friend and someone who roots for him. But I feel like if he flies in and like this happened at Level Up, actually, I didn't even think about that, but his flight got messed up and he flew in the day of, and like he was out of his routine. I just think for him it's tough to readjust and bounce back. Not that he can't, but then when he went to Kagaribi, I think he had more time. Obviously, but then there's also like the time zone adjustment and all this other shit that you need to think about. But I knew if he was in there and he was in the zone, and he was playing a lot, that there was a good chance he would do well. So
Yeah.
that's how I felt, at least. And
it was a good watch. It was a good watch for sure. Just like Hazmatt still bouncing back on sleep schedule is. I mean, it was already bad before, but I just feel like it got even worse. Like, bro, those days were ending at like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. I was like, what's going on? But it was good. It was a good watch. It's weird because I feel like at Level Up, and like it was like kind of expected to happen because it's in Japan, so there's more Japanese players, so it's more likely for them to make top 8. But I really thought NA was gonna come through, man. Like I was all week, I just kept saying, bro, honestly, like it's not even gonna be that many Japanese players in top 8.
It was looking good day one.
It was man.
Looking good day one.
Like Light was playing insane day one, and then you just loaded up day 2, and it was like this not the same
infinity and beyond.
It's not his fault he ran into a space ranger.
Yeah, and then Leo, like I guess his Joker was playing bad day 2, and it's like, come on, like that's your bread and butter, and like the Aegis.
But good enough to beat Spargo. It was like a literal
Aegis.
recipe for like I guess Leo just playing in general, but like I don't know. It just sucked to see Spargo get eliminated at 33rd and then Leo not do a run afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Spargo guarantee would have had a crazier run. You know what I'm saying? I just think both of them weren't playing as good as they were playing day one. So it's just kind of unfortunate, and maybe the pressure got to him. But yeah, I do want to get more into Kagaribi, but I do want to go over some YouTube comments as well. So
all right,
because that is something that I do like. You guys mentioned in the comments that you guys like it, so encourage more engagement, and we get to shout out some of the top comments. So the first one. So we did have Mars as a guest, so it was really fun. It's not Tweek Talks today. It's Mars.
I think
mentioned.
Mars had you guys as the guests, and he was the host. What it appears. So
VoiD's voices. VoiD voices.
Ooh, VoiD.
Yeah.
Voices.
All right. So comments. Yeah. What is this one? What should it be called? Jeez.
The guys in my head, I can hear them.
VoiD
They're speaking to me.
VoiD voices. That's insane. Something you do that I like is anytime someone types VoiD in a tweet, you just go, let's go VoiD. You reply to them. It has nothing to do with them. I just see some random ass tweet from someone I've never heard of, and it's just you, let's go VoiD. And they get like 8 likes on their tweet, and you get like on their tweet, and you get like 200. It's like
that's so funny.
I enjoy it. Yes.
There was one time recently, I think it was like a really sad tweet, and I was just like, ooh.
Commit to the bit.
Yeah,
send.
Today.
Maybe it would make them feel better. I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, we had a couple more comments too. Oh, this one. I just thought it was funny, but yeah, I do be doing this. I do be doing this.
Okay.
Like, there's like situations that aren't even about Smash Brothers, and it's like real life, and I'll either explain it via Smash or like specifically if you're playing Fox McCloud.
So when you're doing work around your mom's house and you're like, okay, so I'm fixing this HVAC unit, and it's like if Fox is putting you into a check chase and I need to just like that. Is that what you do?
No, more of like, oh, I had to crawl into this house and it was such a shitty experience that it's like getting edge guarded as Fox. Like you just have no option and your opponent's playing well and you're just going to have a bad time. Kind of like just one off the top of my head.
Work today wasn't as bad as playing Fox in Smash 4. So
yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. And I'll make it even multi-game. I want them to do Tweek stocks and talk about Tweek's run at Kagaribi. Well, we're definitely
Tweek stocks. Okay, I thought it was stocks like his stocks and like his lives in Smash, not like we're stalking him. No, we weren't stalking him. We were watching him play. Everyone was doing it. What the heck?
All right, and then we got Tweek. I'm going to need you to show up and show out at Kagaribi, which is exactly what Tweek did. You know, one thing I actually do want to talk about, since this is Tweek's podcast is Tweek's tweet after the tournament. I think a lot of people are like kind of knee-jerk reaction, but I guess for me it doesn't feel as a knee-jerk reaction because I get like for us we know Tweek personally, so I don't think it's too crazy for us. But I can understand if you don't know Tweek personally and seeing Tweek tweet something like that is pretty like wild since Tweek doesn't tweet that much anyway. Yeah. So here, let me get the link for that.
We're gonna pull that one up. Yeah. But it was interesting because I read it, and it's funny because VoiD, actually, you read it one way as well, and I think it might be a little ambiguous because he himself might. And truly, I haven't talked to him about it, so we don't have like insider baseball knowledge here, or at least as far as I know, none of us do. But I don't know how he's really feeling about it. And his tweet to me was a little ambiguous, but people ran with it, and they're like, "Damn, Tweek, he's done playing Smash forever." I was like, "Wait, when did that happen?" I was like, "Uh-oh." What happened? And I was like, oh, off of that tweet. So I'll read it word for word with the punctuation he used, which I think is key. Okay. GG's. I told myself this Japan trip would be my
already. What?
That's what the pause.
Was.
What the
audible pause.
I'm not gonna say comma.
Gotta say comma.
GG's. Comma. Then you pause. That's what a comma is. No, that's what a comma is. Like GG's, comma.
There we hey.
Nice.
GG's, comma. I told myself. See, it's a confusing tweet. GG's, comma. I told myself this Japan trip would be my last time playing in Ultimate tournaments, comma. But I'm not entirely sure what the future is for me. I've been going through a lot, as those close to me know. So thank you to everyone who's made this trip amazing. Smash is my outlet and my art form, comma, and I'm very glad. I'm glad so many of you appreciate it. Period. True. So people took that and they were like, "He's retired. He's done. Like
it's over."
And I was like, "That is not what I got from that." I obviously got and like you said, Charles, like he doesn't express himself on social media a whole lot. He kind of keeps to himself. So him saying anything at all, I think is it's something for sure. Mm-hmm. But to me, I didn't read that as like, wow, he's definitely officially like retired. Like we're going to see him play again at Kowloon. That's the plan.
Literally the next weekend.
Yeah. But because VoiD kind of had a different take on it, and he's been a little more in the perspective, a little more than some of us at being a top player and what this might mean or be closer to connected to how Gavin's feeling. But I took it as like he's just feeling some sort of way right now and he might need to take a break, or I don't think he's sure. I think he has these feelings and he's trying to sort them out, and he made a social media post, and I think that's where we're at. I don't think anything's like locked in. Like I think if he's retired or done competing, we will know. And maybe there's also a chance that because we do know him, we're on hopium. And we're like, oh, that's not what that means. And that is possible. I admit that. There's always a lot of different ways to read tweets and whatever. But I do think it's ambiguous at best. So I don't know what you thought, VoiD.
Yeah, it's like, so I didn't know he was going to Kowloon. I was actually going to ask, and I just forgot to bring it up over and over. But that for sure, like, I know because Charles is saying, well, clearly he's not retiring. Well, if the Japan trip is still going on, right? He mentioned even in the tweet, this Japan trip was going to be my last time playing Ultimate tournaments. Japan trip's still happening. And maybe he's feeling conflicted because he did well at Kagaribi. Maybe he's feeling conflicted because he's like having a good, like, it's really hard to tell. But the idea of like presenting that side of yourself publicly, especially as Tweek, like I never thought I'd hear Tweek talk about being done playing an Ultimate tournament. But I would definitely hear Tweek talk about how much he like doesn't enjoy the game that much, or the meta and stuff like that. So I think you can definitely play the game and not enjoy it. But for Tweek to be at a point where he's not sure what his future holds, that's a little worrying for me as a viewer who likes to watch Tweek.
As someone who knows the guy and talks to him a lot, I don't think that he is immediately retiring after this Japan trip. But I do believe that is something that he is considering. It's something that people should maybe be looking forward to. Because as you've all said, he doesn't really say things like that. And for someone who lives and breathes Smash and has done it for 10 years, he has never presented the idea of quitting. He has hated a lot of games and a lot of metas and a lot of matchups, and he would always work his way through and keep fighting and trying to figure it out. But there's never been a time where he said, I'm done trying to figure it out. And it feels like he's starting to consider the possibility of not trying to figure it out anymore, which, I mean, hey, life happens, man. You cannot play forever. Again, I still think he's going to end up going to some things. But I think as someone who has, and this is me, and maybe VoiD can speak to this as well, as someone who has been very good at the video game and thought that they would play it for what feels like your entire life, the moment that idea creeps into your head, like, I think I'm going to quit, it doesn't go away. It really doesn't. Like, you're going to think about it more and more. Anytime a bad performance happens, you're not going to want to, anytime you're not enjoying the game when you're practicing, you're just, why am I even doing this? Like, it's going to creep into your head and you're going to keep thinking about it for, well, kind of until you quit. The thing is, he did say ultimate. He did say ultimate. And that is something that I think people are like, bro, he's just done. I mean, there's maybe a new game. We haven't seen anything, but there's probably going to be one. And he loves Smash Brothers. The thing is, once you quit, it's really hard to get back in. It's really, really difficult to get back in. So we'll see. I mean, that's typical Gavin, cryptic man. You won't know until you know.
Yeah,
he won't know until he knows.
Yes, and I think that's a good way to put it. Is we'll just see, because maybe that is exactly what it means. And like I said, I think he's working through the process. Is what I think it is. Like, that's how it kind of read to me, just from knowing him. I would fucking love to talk to him about it. Maybe I'll shoot him a text, but I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it right now. So I just want him to. I just want him to have a good time in Japan. Is where my priorities are as a friend. So, yeah. Well, hey, good news, guys. He has a podcast, so maybe he'll tell us more when he comes back to said podcast. So that would be cool when he's a guest on Mars Mentions or whatever.
I'd love to hear VoiD's experience of just pivoting from Smash to content. I mean, that's like kind of like quote unquote retiring from competition in Smash, right? How was your experience? Because Pink explained his, and I think for me and Haz, it was more of like us giving up player ambitions for commentary ambitions. So it doesn't really, I don't think the experience really lines up there in terms of me and Haz's side, but I'd love to hear, like, again, if Pink wants to put in or say more, or VoiD's experiences just going through that retiring phase from competition in Smash specifically. Obviously still a game, but
well, I'm sure you guys know a lot of the reasons. Like, competing has always been hard for me. I have a ton of tournament nerves. It sucks. And there was a point for me when, like, going to the tournament did not outweigh dealing with those nerves. Just the landscape is different. The people I hang out with is different. So it wasn't too much about the game, really. So it's a little harder for me to relate. Because, like, even nowadays, I mean, I didn't like the game for some spots. Currently, I think the game's pretty fun. But ultimately, I just didn't have a reason to go to tournaments and enjoy it there. And then, like, I don't really play against people online. So I'm like, I'm just not really consuming the game as much as I used to. So the competing in Smash side kind of like fell out a little more naturally. It wasn't something that I super like decided on. It's
well,
just
since it
like
was quarantine as well, I think
Yeah.
I'm trying to like think back on the, now it's starting to, you're like kind of sparking my memory, but yeah, this happened during quarantine, and essentially you were like, oh wow, I didn't know my life could be like this when I didn't go, if I don't go to tournaments and I stay home and make content, this is how things are. And you're
I
like,
have a
oh,
regular
okay.
sleep schedule. I'm
Correct.
not having like
You got sick a
stress-related
lot when
sleep
you were-
paralysis. Yeah, I used to
Right.
get sick all the time.
'Cause
Now
you
I
travel
don't get
a lot.
You had
that
sleep
much.
paralysis? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All,
All the time,
all the time,
bro.
I had one like a couple of days ago where EE woke me up from the bathroom, and he's like, "It's not yet, VoiD," and he just disappeared into the bathroom, and then I just like, oh, that wasn't actually Phil, huh?
It was.
It might have been.
He's your sleep paralysis demon.
He was. I didn't see him for 2 days after that. I was convinced.
He was in your bathroom. We know where he was.
in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for me, because
Wow, I
that's
didn't
one
know
thing you did bring up from the tweet, from Tweek's tweet. It looks like there is more than just like the Smash side of things going into this decision. So I can relate to that a lot. You know, it's really hard to compete, especially at like the tippity top level when other things aren't going like the best. And, you know, sometimes it's just good to take a step back and start focusing on, you know, making sure that part of your life is good. Because if he does do that, you know, and I don't know what's happening if something is happening, but if there is and that gets fixed and like, becomes phenomenal, who knows? New Smash game, Tweek back on top, baby.
Yeah. And
yeah, I like the idea of essentially kind of doing a reset in life, so to speak.
Yeah.
If that is something he's like thinking about. But like, I think for a lot of competitors, I don't think you necessarily have to compete at the end of Smash 4 to be competitive in Ultimate. I think, at least like from what I saw in SoCal, the players that stayed and grinded the 12-man locals at Wednesday night fights and stuff, they were really good going into Ultimate. I think that does help. I think when you're a caliber of player, like something like Tweek that just has a ton of experience and all this other stuff, you can take something like a break towards the end of the meta and wait for the next Smash game. He could still grind it and play it, but I think traveling to tournaments is something a lot of people just underestimate how stressful it is, right? Whether you have any kind of conditions that, you know, happen while you're traveling, or it's like, oh, you're traveling and like it changes day-to-day scenarios, right? So if you're a routinic person, always that could also break your routine. There's like health things that come into play, right? There's also if you have pets or a significant other, right? That's also coming into play. So there's a lot of pieces being juggled around. And also, like, if you have a team, you're also planning your travels with said team. Like there's a lot of management and stuff going on top of the content and podcasts and all this other stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, even for myself, I'm not a pro player by whoopsie. I'm back. But just for me, like, I'm not a pro player or anything, but I'm taking care of a lot of business just at home right now, hoping that I can take care of everything before the next Smash game. Because I would like to be part of the next Smash game in terms of commentating and content or whatever, and just like being involved with players and tournaments. But just getting everything in life straight now, so when that does come through, it's like, okay, cool, everything else is G. Yeah.
For me, there's two things I've noticed about Gavin, and this kind of happened with me. So it could be different, but there's something I like to call soft retiring. Okay, I soft retired a very long time ago. I realized that I've said this plenty of times. I realized that I wanted to be more of a family man than I wanted to be the best player in the world. I got married. I just started my life, all that. Like, that was when I retired. My ambition of being the best in the world had been overtaken by something else. I think Gavin is currently in the process of soft retiring because he's starting to realize, well, okay, I hate this game. If I'm not doing well, what happens? If things go wrong with LG, what happens? What skills do I have? Like, he's literally starting to think about his future, and he's like, wait a second, like, too many bad things were happening as far as tournaments went for him to feel like this would be sustainable. Because yes, he has like the content, but he doesn't like doing the content. Yes, he has like this podcast and his LG sponsorship, but like, for him, it's always been about tournaments. So if those aren't going well and they're continuously not going well and he doesn't like the game, he's like, okay, well, now what? Like he just thought about it. He was like, okay, terms. Now what?
Terms, Mo.
And for him to put that tweet out, that's my brain going, oh my gosh, he's self-retiring. The other thing that really had me like, you might be starting the process is he won't. Smash 4 Gavin would pick up a character if it meant winning. He keeps saying that he will, but he will not. Going into the next game, he says that he will. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. He's going to play who he wants to play. And
no, I think he will.
No,
absolutely
I object.
not. Absolutely not.
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will.
I think
this before.
Because I think if that were the case, he would have done it already in this game. He definitely would have.
He doesn't want to do it because the character is like really whack.
Which character?
Steve. What?
Cloud?
If you're gonna play the best character in the are you saying just like a good enough character to win?
He would pick up characters to win. And there are characters that he likes. He likes Wolf. Wolf would help. He likes Cloud. Cloud-ish. Cloud will help. Like there are characters that he likes that he wants to play Diddy Kong, and that's fine. But I know Smash 4 Gavin, and he played Cloud Donkey Kong, and then he picked up Bayonetta. Like he had a good enough lineup, and then he picked up another character to make his lineup even better. And
he really liked her too, like the way she played. Like if he didn't feel like he was, I think if he felt like
that's also true.
I think if he felt like if he was forcing it, it wouldn't have stayed the same.
Right. But like if that's the case, you feel like he doesn't like any of the characters he could pick up in Ultimate?
Truthfully, probably not. To be honest with you,
hard to tell what that guy likes.
I can't see a world where there's. And he won't, and there's also like he won't give every character a shot. Like before, he would give a character a shot. Some characters is like, I don't like this character. I'm not doing it. I'm like, really? That's so strange. Because if that's like, why did he give Bayonetta a shot? Just randomly gave her a shot. So, I don't know.
Turn Smash 4. See if it would work.
Because there was like 10 playable characters in Smash 4. Shit, you're gonna play all of them. I'll tell you right now, as someone who competed in Smash 4, like if you ever competed in Smash 4, you tried out all the meta characters. There wasn't a lot. Like
there was a lot less of them.
Yes. There was way less. Like in Ultimate.
That's true. Yes.
Yes, in Ultimate, like holy crap, and like how different the playstyles are. Like Smash 4, like this sounds weird, but like in Smash 4, the good characters felt like Smash characters. Like it was the only weird one was Cloud getting meter and then Bayonetta being a Marvel character, but like excluding the two like DLC characters, and then like even Ryu was honestly, let's be real, Ryu was like a fringe. Like when I played against Ryu and I lost to Ryu in tournament, I was like, you're not trying to win the tournament, so I don't like really care or respect you. So it's whatever. Like you weren't like no one picked Ryu and like was like, I'm trying to be the best player in the world. Like you didn't seriously think you were gonna do that with Ryu.
You're not
I'm keeping it above.
In that category of characters.
Yes, absolutely. You're not trying to win the tournament, bro. You are just trying to be like a good Ryu player. Which is cool.
I know where you're coming from, and I've heard you say this so many times, Charles, about so many characters in Smash 4 after MSMs and Wednesday night fights.
Bro, you're not trying to win.
Ryu was not in that category of characters during Smash 4. Ryu was like a top 10 character. That's not bad.
I can't see a Ryu player beating all the Bayos to win like a fucking SP tier. Like that's just not like I'm sorry. That's impossible.
The main thing I was pointing out is that he's really fucking weird and not a normal Smash character.
He's literally just a weird character.
Yeah,
whatever.
Like competitively viable, very unsmashed. Like,
I actually think Ryu.
He's kind of Smash.
He's Smash.
Really?
In Smash 4, he was a Smash character. Yes, absolutely. You just had fucking inputs. What? It's a Smash character with inputs. No auto turnaround.
Focus is so fucking weird. Like, I don't know. He felt really weird to me.
Maybe it's because I just dabbled in Street Fighter 4. So to me, like when I started, like Ryu came out and I was like screwing around with him. I was like, feels like a Smash character with fucking Street Fighter. Like Focus was the only thing that was weird.
Played some Street Fighter in my time.
I think it's funny. The justification of he feels like a Smash character is I played Street Fighter 4.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It was weird.
Ryu is spacing back air on my shield in Smash 4. He does not do that in Ultimate. He is not like he can kind of do it, but like not really. Like when I'm playing neutral in Smash 4 against the Ryu, I'm like, okay, space back air, run up nair. Like he's doing Smash character shit, and then he hits me and does all the Street Fighter shit. Like And then like his defense, he had a frame one out that a multi-hit fucks up. Like, okay, cool. He has like a niche thing. Other than that, it's fucking bullshit inputs that he can do, like block strings, like back air shore you and be like, oh, you can't grab that and you die if you grab it, or I shield break you or whatever.
Mashing down tilt was interesting. Collarbone obviously having, I don't know, I don't know, but we just don't agree. I think he was strange compared to like he's not Mario. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh yeah, like I guess I'm just comparing him to Ultimate Ryu, and I think Ultimate Ryu feels like way more like a fighting game character to me in Smash, whereas in Smash 4 I feel like Ryu is like a fighting character that got put into Smash and is tried to like they try to make him a Smash character.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying in Smash 4, without a comparison to Ultimate, that wasn't out yet. That he felt incredibly strange when it first was released.
You guys think Rosalina felt strange? I'm surprised nobody said that. Rosalina as a Smash 4 like top tier. I'll say she felt kind of strange.
That was a weird character.
To me, I think Rosa is more strange than Ryu. To me, because because you're puppeteering something, and like I don't think that was ever in Smash, right? I think that was the first time.
Ice Climbers were like the closest,
kind of, sort of.
It reminded me of like they're settling on Ice Climbers, basically. Is what
I guess, maybe it does feel more Smash, but Haz, I do agree with you. Like Ryu felt different from the rest of the cast.
Yeah,
so like in that sense, I was definitely wrong, or like we agree on that point. But I think I was just comparing it to Ultimate Ryu, where Ultimate Ryu feels more like fighting game character because of auto turnaround and all that other stuff. And like they also just added more inputs in Ultimate, like crescent kick and all this other shit. Like there wasn't that many inputs in Smash 4. Like there was like
mashing down tilt.
It was kind of just like
up tilt,
up shore you run like walker. Like to me, the character was your game plan was fairly simple. Yeah, it wasn't impressive at all. So very simple, very easy. Like
Mega Man felt weird too. Okay, let's not go down this rabbit hole.
We're definitely going down a rabbit hole.
Kagaribi.
Well,
let's come back to reality.
Let's bring it back.
We don't know what Gavin's
my one
doing.
point I wanted to say about Gavin is he was lucky enough that the meta character, like the characters he liked, were good enough to win. But I think, like, this is me, just my observation and the time I spent with Gavin, and this is my guess, like my read on him on the next Smash game. I think Gavin likes to be the innovator of something. I think the most exciting part of the game is the beginning part of the game for Gavin, because I just personally think of I've met a lot of people that play Smash, and in terms of like base, I don't know what to call this, but like Smash IQ, in terms of like when someone grabs the sticks and they're going into a new platform fighter or Smash game or whatever, right? And they want to figure it out. And you as a competitor in this phase, it's like the gold rush phase. It's like, holy crap. It's like the meta's not defined, but the most amount of players that are going to play this game in the history of this game is right now. The game just dropped. First year matters the most. And like, I think it's really cool if you can be the highest rank later on in a game. And like, technically, yes, it is harder, but the level of competition is not. Like, just I want to say level of competition is very vague. So when I say level of competition, like the actual sheer number of people that are invested into this game trying to win. So that's what I mean by level of competition, because that can be very vague, and that could be like, oh, the actual like action per minute or yada, yada, yada. Like the game's more developed and the matchups are more developed and the execution's harder or whatever. No, the cool thing about the first year of Smash, it is kind of about that, but it's also knowing how to leverage that. And if it's even like worth your time to invest into a tech that could be fucking useless, that could only happen once every 20 games in a tournament. And if you break down the math like that, you're just wasting your time and you could be like grinding matchups or whatever, right? So also utilizing your time in the fullest in the beginning of the meta. So because of this, I think even with like a character like PT, I don't know if this is the reason why he did it, but it's like he saw this character and he was like, okay, I think this character can win. Or I'm assuming he thought this. But I'm assuming he thought, hey, this character can win. I'm going to pick the character up and show the world that this character doesn't just get you in a top 64 or top 32. Like, you can win tournaments with this character. The character's that good, right? So I think for Gavin, there's a bit more excitement, even though even if he's just playing a character where it's like, okay, I'm just going to play this character just to win, being the first person to figure out that character is that strong just to win, I think holds enough merit to like have Gavin interested in doing it. I think he will start with the characters he likes. That is the trend that I've seen throughout the Smash games, right? It's like he starts with characters he likes and see if he can make them work. And then he has to deduce if that's possible or not. Because like, he's not a Fire Emblem fan. Bro used Roy to win a tournament. So you can't tell me that he has never like used a character from a franchise he doesn't like. And maybe to him, Roy's more of a Smash character or whatever. But all I know is that he's not the biggest Fire Emblem fan. And you saw him use a Fire Emblem character to win a tournament. So he will use characters that he might not be the biggest fan of the franchise, but he knows that like, hey, I'm fighting up against ZSS. I'm going to use Roy and it's a good matchup. And he won. And like, he has been known for being able to, and this is what I mean by like, I think he has high Smash IQ because he has shown in and won with multiple characters. I think that is something on a resume. If you want to talk about someone's skill in a platform fighter, if they can win tournaments that are very stacked with different characters, it's like, okay, you can see that they can diversify their skills. And it's like, I'm not just using this one character because it can do X, Y, or Z to win. So I think that that aspect in itself will at least help Gavin gravitate towards just picking a character to win. But that's just my theory. I don't know, but this is how I think about it.
Yeah. I think last note is just like, I don't know. I don't want to really speak for Gavin, especially on his own podcast for what he meant. My point was people were tweeting like the guy fucking died.
Yeah, that was
he just
weird.
made a vague
That was definitely
tweet.
weird.
So my main point isn't like how he feels or doesn't. I'm just saying I thought it was kind of vague, and I think we'll see what he says. I'm excited to hear from him, obviously, and whatever he does, and he's got our support, obviously, going forward from the boys here at Tweek Talks at VoiD. What do we say? VoiD's Voices. Thank you.
Not VoiD Voices. VoiD's Voices, like apostrophe S.
Yeah.
VoiD's Voices. We are VoiD's Voices.
So yeah, speaking of Gav, I think obviously we got to talk about Kagaribi results, him and everyone else, but obviously he was kind of the protagonist of this one for a while.
Kind
well, NA protagonist.
He's my, you know what's funny is he's actually my second favorite storyline for that tournament. He's not even my favorite. He's not even my favorite.
Was.
I think we have the same one.
We might. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Buzz
Lightyear.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, yeah.
No, Riddles is my favorite part of that tournament.
I wish we got top 8 then.
Riddles was easily my favorite part of that tournament, bro.
Yeah.
He just, because for me, it was someone who has been struggling with their results, struggling with how much they cared about the game, deciding this is actually going to be my last street. Like Riddles and Tweek, if you look at what they said, those are completely different. Riddles is like, this is my last one.
Yeah.
Tweek is like, I don't know what's going on, but I told myself it would be. You know, that's like, those are very different. Riddles was like, this is my last hurrah, and I'm just gonna try my best. And he was getting farmed for months on end, and then he just shows up and he's like, wait a second, I just remembered I'm that guy, and I've always been that guy, and I needed to remind y'all that I'm that guy. And that's crazy, because that was like, this is easily the hardest tournament of all time in Smash, at least. I kind of want to like do some dive and see if it's the hardest tournament of any game. How would I even know that? I don't know. Anyway, but
good content.
Yeah, I know, right?
I like that. That's good.
But it's one of the hardest tournaments ever, and he just shows up and just starts beating people. Like, like it's not like he was beating like scrubs. Like he beat Spargo.
Like,
bro, he hit Spargo with Gates of Hell spam. Yeah. Go. And it's just like, dude, Spargo's characters, and it's kind of, man, Spargo's lineup just sucks in a sense where it's so hard to watch someone just lose to Gates of Hell and Min. Like those two things are just a death sentence to Spargo's character lineup.
Yeah. Which sometimes you need good pockets, when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Crazy thing is he does have a pocket.
Yeah.
Two
He has
characters.
other characters, yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, he has a Roy too, but like,
There's
yeah.
Roy, is Corin. I mean, I think he's good enough to where if he just decided to pull it out, like it would do well. Especially because I know Corin is like known to do pretty well against Kazuya, just like through the frame trapping and like getting the stocks pretty early, and like being able to pin all that stuff. So I was shocked he didn't try it, but once he went down 2-0, like you're gonna stick to your guns, right? If you're gonna try it, you're probably gonna try it game 2. So, but yeah, that Riddles run, man, I was very happy to see him go out the way he went out, and he didn't just show up and just like, whatever. Like, this is my last event. Like, I'm not really gonna give it my all. Like, and that's the type of guy Riddles is, and it's really cool to see that like through his gameplay. You know, he's gonna have a lot of success in Street Fighter 6, and he's already having success. So, I wish he made top 8. I mean, he didn't, but.
So
man,
close.
that was a good run. That's
Dude,
my guy.
He beat Carmelo too. Agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
My guy as well. Beating Carmelo in a game 5 after beating Riddles game 5. And that was the Kazuya Terry back-to-back mix. Like, you're right, Marcus. That was an incredible run. But then he got a little bracket. What's that?
Big Gav, man.
Well, I was going to talk about Wrath, actually. So.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's Wrath had the opposite experience where it's like, bro, this is the best bracket I've ever seen in my life. And I don't, again, it's not just bracket luck, because this is a guy who goes to 1,000 tournaments, plays in one of the best, most competitive regions, and goes all the time against people who know how to beat his character's ass, and is a really consistent player and has been for a really long time. So when he had, you make your own luck is how I feel about it. His bracket was good because he is a master of a very, very, very good character. The bracket presented itself to him. He didn't get upset. He made winners top 8, which is insane because not even Sonic's made winner top 8 with the same character.
Yep.
So crazy to me.
I know, man.
Bro, we saw his. We knew T was gonna be his downfall, man. Like we knew it. Like,
Yes, but I still was like, Sonic's is getting into losers top 8. I also was
very sure
confident about that. I was so confident, and then Diamond Ferret 50 and Sonic the Hedgehog can't recover. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sonic the Hedgehog with double jump. Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh yeah, I figured out what the Patreon content's gonna be. I am going to go on a savage ass Steve rant, and I am going to take screenshots and show VODs and just be like, literally, what do you do here? I'm just going to bitch about Steve. And I know, I've seen, sure, yeah.
Nice, sorry.
But I still need, I need a little bit of time because we're recording this a little later, so I just got home from work. But I need time to like, there are very specific scenarios that I want to break down.
Well, that's
like I am going to get very nerdy about it. It's not going to be just me like saying this character carries people. I'm going to break down how they're carrying them. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think you have some of the tweets from this weekend, Charles, in the top. I think that's a good transition into the top, the players or character representation across. I think we have a top 128 and maybe top 64. Is that the two parts of the bracket that we have there?
I think it's 192 and 64.
Oh, you're talking about the stats in terms of character. Yeah, Rosebloom. Yeah. Shouts to Rosebloom doing mad work on Twitter, getting all these statistics. And okay, so in a previous episode, I talked about top 190. What is this? 192? So top 192, I predicted. Now, this is not a hot take, obviously. Like, I predicted the character that would be the most prevalent in this top 192 would be Steve. And I gave a number, and I gave a really exaggerated high number. But it is crazy that it almost got there.
You said,
I guess 22. I said 22 Steve players and 192. There is 14. I didn't even think it would get this high. I was just spitting out 22 just to be a troll, but like 14.
The crazy thing about that too, Charles, is that a lot of the good Steves are on the same side of the bracket as each other.
That's the crazy thing. This is with them seeding all the Steves to fight each other.
Which W Kagaribi, by the way.
Yeah, shouts to Kagaribi. Like, obviously they did that on purpose. So like all the Steves would take each other out, so there wouldn't be too many Steves going to winners. So shouts to that's some damn good seeding.
I brought this up when we were streaming. Was that on our podcast or somewhere where someone said there should only be one Steve allowed in bracket, and the way we do it is they all play each other in one Super Steve bracket, and whoever wins that gets to play in the regular bracket? That's basically what fucking happened here. Like really close to what happened here.
Funny.
A really funny idea. I wish I knew who said that because that is such a hilarious idea.
We might have to come up with a new Steve loser bracket. So, because there did we did get some overdraft. Like a Steve did get in through losers. Didn't expect that one to happen. But
Carmelo,
next
right?
time we can prevent that. Just having a losers bracket that has all the Steves, and then at the end you fight Spargo. Even if Spargo's in where he just dips down there real quick, takes out the last Steve, and then he
The
goes
Grim
back to where he
Reaper?
was. Yeah. There you go.
Good God.
And if you
If
win,
you beat
that's when
Spargo
you
with
deserve
Steve,
to
all
do
right, you're
that.
nice with it. I'll admit it. You beat Spargo with Steve,
All right.
then you got it.
Let's talk about Gav a little bit here. The set to start with is him versus Snow, I think.
Brother.
Can we talk about his bracket, or we're going to talk about his bracket in general? But I think he rolled a pretty good bracket in general.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I will say, I feel like Mario's been a little tricky for him. Like I think Karama's given him hard times. Like pushed him to like game 5s.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. But if
you don't lose to Mario, bro.
But dude, okay.
You don't.
But think about the other characters he can get. Like I think any character where it's like, oh, he's pretty good, or he's like kind of shaky, that's great.
But it's not like he got Jazzo, you know what I mean? It's not like he got
yeah.
or something. Like it's good, but it's still Mario. I don't know. He's scary, man. In a bracket, I don't know. Maybe I'd just be scared for Gavin, but he won that one. Dude, that was game 5.
It was game
super
5,
last hit. Like let's not act like he walked away from that. Oh well, that was easy.
Yeah.
But then what did happen is that he did get Doramigi, which is incredibly fortunate for him. Was that 2-3-0s or was it 3-1 in losers?
I believe it was double
3-1 in losers.
I think it was 3-1 in
He
losers.
lost the first game. He lost the first game in losers. He put his headset on and he locked in.
And you could say Shuton is a good pick by history. However, he lost to him the last time they played, which was incredibly surprising. So I knew my man would be prepared and ready. Like I knew, because he does not like losing. So I knew he would bounce back. I was confident in that one, but also a little nervous because Shuton had won the last one, and it looked fucking hard. He was getting hit really hard at Genesis by Shuton's Olimar. Like it looked fucking hard. So like, yes, on paper, mathematically, all that, great bracket.
Yeah.
Mentally, though, you know what I mean? Like close calls against Mario, just lost to Shuton. Doramigi, that's fine. Doramigi's on a hot streak though, and was playing really well.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good matchup, etc. But you know, you still got to consider Doramigi probably wanted to win this tournament almost more than anyone on the planet. So it's like it's still scary just because of who's on the other side, but obviously fine overall because of how it actually adds up. But those other two, especially Shuton, I was like, I obviously believe in him and I think he's going to win. But there's like this little thing in the back of my head where I'm like, I'm scared just because the last time I thought he was going to roll Shuton, that absolutely did not happen. Is all.
Gavin always I call it the bracket, and I messaged him. I said, Gavin, you have the bracket. He has these brackets where like he's supposed to play someone that should be very difficult, and then something happens, and then he plays Mario into Shattuck. I actually thought Shattuck was gonna like beat Shuton and beat I thought Shattuck was gonna end up being who he played in quarters. But I thought he was going to play Mario into like a favorable matchup into Shattuck. That's usually how he makes winners top 8 at his tournaments. I don't know. It's just really strange that happens that way. And I thought because Sonics was on Akola's side, as long as Sonics beat Teeth, that Sonics was going to make winners side top 8. And Gavin was going to have to play Sonics. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's about to make winners finals based on like this bracket, right? Obviously that didn't happen. But when I saw level 1 got upset, and I was like, okay, so he just has to play Snow into Doramigi into probably Shuton, like he's making winners top 8. Like especially after I saw like his first set of the day, not against Snow, but against the Bayonet, I was like, he's playing well enough. So he's probably not gonna lose. And I just don't expect him to lose to a Min at this point. He's just very good at the matchup and whatever. So very good bracket for him. Honestly, I thought he was going to get folded by Akola. Like, I thought he was locked in, right? But I thought it was going to be like him getting kind of cooked. That game 1 started, I said, who is this player? Wait, you have some fight in you against Steve. Like, I haven't seen this fight in a while. Like, normally you're in your head and you feel like this character is like unbeatable and they have like all these options. The character is unbeatable and has a lot of options, but like you still got to fight against it when you're competing, right? Like you do. Like it's just you chose to do this. So I saw him employing the strategies. I was like, ooh, the barrels are back. You ain't been doing this in a few sets. Ooh, you're hitting the bottom block and like playing the situation out, or you're like doing a short hop banana toss over like a one low block. Like you're really locked into how to play this out. And hey, I said, oh, hold on, Big Gav might get a dub. He lost that FD game. Come on,
it was the FD game, man.
It was the FD game.
And he still
Which
brought
was
it to
game
game
2.
5.
Game 5,
He
dude. It
still
was
brought it to game 5.
Yeah, and something I love about that set, obviously wish he won and all that, but the masses, like how people feel about that set, were just like, we are so fucking impressed with the game plan and the execution that Tweek basically had put together for the general. Sorry, we cut out chat. I don't know if this is picking up in a weird spot, but the general, what the public opinion was afterwards, which I really appreciated seeing, is that Gavin's game plan was very sound, very clear, and very disciplined, which you have to be in this matchup. And we all saw what happened when he would chip away, banana aerial, you know what I mean? That's all you get. Banana, that's it. You know what I mean? Down tilt, maybe no true follow-up, something F tilt when you can, right? That's it. You mess up once, you get Steve up tilted, you monkey flip in a bad spot, you jump in and get parried at a bad spot, you're just going to lose a stock. So I just really appreciated how so many people appreciated what Gavin did, because he's clearly worked really hard in this matchup for a really long time, and you could see how it paid off in a really tight game 5 set, and it was just tough, man. It just didn't bounce his way in the end. It just sucked, which sucked to see, especially because he clearly worked so hard. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just appreciated that people appreciated what he was doing. Is kind of how I was feeling after.
Yeah, as somebody who I don't like watching Gavin fight Steve. I'll be honest. If Gavin gets a Steve in his bracket, I'm clocked out. But
Sure.
There's something about the way it happened this time is like you can see the thought process and the mental energy towards creating the game plan that was working really well, even when it came to like fighting blocks, how he wants to take space, where he's overshooting, which overshooting against Steve sounds like a death sentence. And I'm like, wait, but Gavin's kind of cooking, no? So I don't know. I thought it was a great set. I would have loved Gavin to do better, and there is a bunch of Steve hate in the world already, but I left that set being like, I watched some pretty good Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we gotta give it up to Akola, bro. The kid just shows up when he needs to show up. Like I know everybody, bro, but he's on Steve, and like he is, but he's doing it, man. Like he's getting it done when nobody else can. He is.
Yeah, like we hyped up Serp a lot going into this tournament, and he had a good tournament.
Yeah,
but he didn't win.
Tournament. Yeah,
but he didn't win.
I think out of the Steves, personally, I've been hyping up Onin and Syrup in like the last couple of weeks. Which sometimes it's scary because it's like, oh god, the Steves are getting into form, but they've been playing pretty good lately. And then when I saw all the Steves and the Sonics were in the same side of bracket, I'm like, nobody's living this except Akola. Like if any of the Steves live the bracket, it's gonna be Akola.
Yeah,
most consistent for sure. Onin absolutely stepped up their game recently. Always has been a really good and really sound player. I don't know what they did, but they have enhanced their game quite a bit, and it's been more consistent, which is great to see. And Syrup lost to Sonic and Losers. You know what I mean? One of the best players on the planet at that matchup. It is what it is.
Somebody's got to be the best Steve, right? To me, it's like somebody's got to do it.
You're making Termy howl over there, Charles. Take it easy.
I just mentioned Steve in this household. And
he started barking.
Good job, Termy.
Well, and shout outs to Carmelo too, one of the newer Steves on the block, doing really well. And again, obviously, Steve, not everyone's favorite character, I think is a fair thing to say. But with Carmelo, it's like there are so many other Steves that we probably would have picked to get top 8 before them. But now we're seeing, hey, who's Carmelo? When's it going to be Carmelo's turn? Got to beat Mia. That's going to take a little bit, I think, though. Another great player at the matchup, of course.
Dude, Mia in Japan is like a completely different player, man. Like, I don't know if it's just because he is very good against everyone in Japan or what, but like when I saw that pretty much only had to play like Japanese players, I was like, bro, about to win this tournament. I was like, Mia's about to win this joint, man. Like,
I thought Mia was going to win
crazy.
after Gavin was out, and that's who I was rooting for. That's who I legit thought who was going to win. Like, shouts to Akola. Obviously, you know, Steve is very strong, but there's other bullshit characters in this game that can give Steve a run for his money. I don't think Steve wins every matchup. I don't think he's like that crazy. There are matchups he loses and stuff like that. So I don't know too much about Game & Watch. I'm not like super well studied on the game, but Game & Watch definitely showcases, hey, he's got tools to deal with minecart. Hey, you have you get up B, and like the hit that you usually up B to use the intangibility to abuse that to hit minecart, you usually don't get too much out of it. Like you can kind of set up fair afterwards. It's not like getting up B out of shield while someone's grounded and you get like the up air chains and stuff like that. But I think Game & Watch has great tools in terms of to me, Game & Watch feels strong because Game & Watch has very strong advantage state. It's very similar to something like a min advantage state. It's like your character's advantage state is clearly overtuned, and you can make characters bleed that usually can't bleed. So it still applies to Steve, right? Like up air, falling up air against Anvil, super strong. Up B against minecart, very strong. So yeah, I mean, shout outs to Akola still being able to adapt in that situation. Mia was up in the set, and I believe it was Akola. Yeah, it was destroying him. I believe it was reverse 3-0 from Akola's side. So amazing adaptation, knowing where to clutch and stuff. And I just want to make it very clear, just because I hate a character doesn't mean I am not like gonna give a player their roses. Like I am very salty when it comes to that kind of stuff, and like even like Smash 4 Bayo has caused me so much like physical pain, but I still give credit where it's due. And at the end of the day, we're all playing this game, and you know, Akola did an amazing job. His character is extremely strong, and obviously any competitor is going to abuse any character that they're good with, right? And Akola is extremely good with Steve. It was kind of in the questions in terms of like past tournament results if Akola was still the best Steve, but I think this tournament kind of cemented it. Hey, you know, didn't have amazing tournaments, and hey, Akola, it is possible for Akola to place in the double digits. Holy shit, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because it didn't happen before level up. So I mean, just shout outs to Japan in general. I think Japan traveled out to level up, and I think before Level Up Expo, it was a pretty common, you know, opinion that Japan was the strongest region. It's pretty obvious in terms of rankings and stuff like that. Level Up Japan didn't have the greatest performance, even though they still won the tournament. Dormi got first place, but it was only one Japan player in top 8. And the story, I think Level Up really amplified the storyline coming into Kagaribi, because before Kagaribi to me was just like, well, it's the most stacked tournament and it's in Japan, and Japan is currently the strongest region. So that was the baseline storyline for Kagari, for me at least. And to me, Civil War is just more exciting because the marketing and the hype built up Civil War to be the tournament it was, right? And Kagari, we felt like it was missing that. But I think Level Up gave it at least a little bit of more oomph when it came to storyline, where it's like, oh, Japan kind of faltered at this one tournament. Mia Akola at 33rd, that's kind of a big deal, right? So since we had that, the tournament felt a little bit more exciting. I wish NA showed up. Am I still lagging? Jeez. Okay. I wish NA showed up like more players in top 8, but hey, extremely hard tournament. I get it. And I think Wrath and Gavin had like fortunate brackets to get themselves in winner side. So yeah, and I mean we can actually go for it.
Before we get off that topic, Battle of BC as well set a lot of the foundation.
True. Very similar to Level Up.
BC, Japan did bad.
Yeah,
right.
0 sets won against non-Japan in top 32. 0.
They got bodied.
Yeah, they got destroyed. So then Level Up was like, oh my god, now they only have one Japanese representative in top 8. Like, they're still doing bad. But that guy won? I think it set up the conversation very, very well for Kagaribi to be invested in as a viewer from NA, as a viewer from Japan, and, you know, even like the EU heavy hitters came to play it too.
Gluto
top 8, bro.
Gluto. I thought Raflo, Andres, Tarek, very, very good going into the event. Like, there was a lot, man. It was a GOAT tournament.
Dude,
that's all I can say.
Andres and Crepe had a good. They both had great.
Crepe almost beat
Akola, yeah.
Crepe,
that was
reverse 3-0, almost reverse 3-0 with Wario, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the the up smash call out at the end, I was like, damn, we're gonna bet it all on that. But it is what it is. It was a really, really good set, and I don't think that up smash was necessarily bad. I will say it kind of like it's definitely not as bad as the who did the forward smash, the Neo's forward smash on Akola. No, Akola be getting away with this, bro.
SmashCon?
SmashCon. Wait a minute, hold up. Why do players just throw out the wildest smash attack game 5 last stock last hit against Akola specifically? Because it was Neo at SmashCon. Then I saw it Crip Soleil at Kagaribi, man, where it's like the player with the stage control there was Crip, and then he just went for like a really hard read.
Yep, he rolling.
Yeah, man. And you know what's crazy? Both of them were to cover Akola's rolls. All right, if you're game 5, last stock last hit versus Akola, he will not roll. He will not do it.
True.
I'll go for the roll read.
hey, one of your biggest wins is off of a crazy like read right on Spargo, like the forward tilt, drop shield forward tilt.
I have to. There's a difference.
Oh. Your character has to take bad risks. Yeah, it's so crazy. Like Wario, I can understand. Wario kind of has to take risks eventually, but like Corrin, I was like, no, please just do reverse falling up air or back air until you win the game, please. But yeah,
dude,
Krebs, that set took like there were so many sets like that.
That's the real top player privilege.
There were so
mind control people.
Yep. Throw out a really risky move. You got the read, bro.
You do want to win, don't you?
Want to end it? Yeah.
We gotta give it up, man. Roru, like, look, I get it. Luigi has some stuff, and the more I see, the more I start having to ask some questions about their character. I messaged VoiD the other day. I said, "Why does Luigi have 6 electrics? Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on, man? Like, he's just everything is confirming into up. You do rising forward air. What did you tell you? Down tilt, rising forward air.
He can do down tilt to start a 0 to death combo.
Yep, at 0, down tilt, rising forward air in there.
Yeah.
What? And then it just random percents down tilt, grab, down tilt, up tilt. Huh? It just grab kills you. Yeah, like a landing nair kills you. Like so many. You're just dying from random stuff. Like it's just. But that character is so slow.
Yeah.
That character is so slow. So the fact that Rara is getting to these players and like capitalizing, and some of the stuff is really creative. Like obviously there's that clip going around on Twitter of Akola doing back air with the block on the ground, like rising back air over and over. But like if you look at how Raru played out that situation to get that like air dodge in up tilt, like that is a strange option. Like it's unique. Like people aren't gonna do things
crazy.
Like that.
Okay, I saw that because I haven't been on Twitter much for the last 2 days, and I know that NA Twitter is exploding. So that clip like popped up, and I'm like, oh, is this the clip everybody's been like, just complaining about? And I watched the clip, and of course, there's the block on the ground, and Akko is just spamming back air, and I'm like, okay, like that looks kind of like degenerate, but we're just accepting. Okay, once the block's gone, Raru can take space, and then Raru, Akko did it again, reset the situation. I'm like, okay, cool, and then Raru gets in and kills Akula, and I'm like, is this not a good clip? Is this not like, we're not giving Raru his flowers here? We're complaining about Akula back airing in a pretty strong autopilot, getting hard punished? I don't know. I thought it was a great clip.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are, I know Chuck's like, I get what people, because I think the foundation of it was like, well, Steve can do the rising back air, but all these other characters can do back air too, like Fox and Cloud. And it's like, no, they have to do falling back air. Steve is rising. And there's a block on the ground. Like there is a difference, but also like, I don't understand the notion of like players choosing strong options over and over being like bad gameplay. Like, I don't get it. Like you watch Robs do Nair 20 times in a row. I've seen Mia do at least 15 forward airs in a row, neutral air, forward air. Like the options are strong. You're just going to do the strong options. And like, because characters have strong options, that makes like the gameplay from the player less skilled. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like it probably makes it more skilled because the player's aware enough to use the option more. Like I don't understand how we say like, oh, I'm going to choose like a worse option. That makes me a better player. No, it doesn't. That's stupid. That's stupid. It just, you're just stupid. You just want to be unique. That doesn't make you good. You're just unique.
Just making sure I don't fit in.
I don't know, man. Like I don't know. But anyway, that's another topic for another day.
I will give my opinion on this one specific clip, but in the Patreon or content, I will go in depth. And this is like one of the situations that okay, it's not a player picking a strong option that makes me upset. What makes me upset when I see a clip like that is what the block, the strongest smash move ever, what it's doing. That's what makes me angry. So like when I view that scenario, I think to myself, oh, this is a classic Smash Brothers situation. Earlier, we talked about Ryu spacing back air on Shield in Smash 4, and it made him feel like a regular, normal Smash character in Smash 4. This is a very normal situation where a character is throwing out back air, whether it's rising or falling, to cover different approaching areas. What makes this really dumb is when you do a rising back air, most of the time a character can do a burst option to counteract that, especially if your burst option starts like, and when I say burst option, I usually mean something like a dash attack, something that is an attack that is combined with mobility to close the gap between you and an opponent. And if your burst option starts high, something like a Little Mac dash attack, a Diddy Kong dash attack, Fox dash attack, anti-airs as well. It has a high hitbox. Anything that's quick and you can burst your character forward to break the zone that is being controlled, that is a normal Smash Brothers situation. Now, block makes this not normal because in competitive Smash, we usually ban stages with walls because there's certain interactions that can be abused if there's a wall between you and your opponent, aka it stops your movement. So if you cannot move into that zone, now you have to jump into that zone. Now you are completely cutting off and restricting movement. This is like, I just want people to know my TLDR for the Patreon content is Steve is crazy because block restricts movement and creativity. That's like my issue with the character, and it's mainly the move. The character is obviously there's a bunch of other crap to complain about, but like when I complain about Steve, I'm usually pinpointed on block because block is restricting movement, and I like movement. I think most people when they play the game, and when I've heard people say what they like about Ultimate or Smash is the movement that Smash provides for someone to be expressive and creative. That's what sets it apart from fighting games and all this other stuff. So the move block is like when I see that clip, I'm not mad at someone picking like degenerate options. Like you will do strong things, bro. If you think that's bad, go load up a Como or Curie set playing Cloud or Sonic. It don't matter the character. You want to see like I do this because it's strong. Como Rikiri. That is the guy. Go look up his clips and you can complain about that. But Akola doing block bear, right? But like Akola doing block bear 5 or 6 times in a row is not someone just spamming or it is someone spamming a strong option. But I've seen worse than that, like way worse. That is so tame in terms, and like the counterplay is ballsy. Yes, you have to do a neutral air dodge and you have to like hard read when they're doing the rising bear. But if Akola just did it 5 or 6 times in a row, guess what the 7th time's going to be? Raru just blew him up for it.
Yeah.
Whatever. 6 or 7 times. Like Raru just blew him up and just timed it correctly. And he did the perfect counterplay. Yeah. But that is when something is strong, there is generally a counterplay. And the fact that that clip showed the counterplay within the same clip, I'm in the same boat as VoiD where it's like, damn, Raru knew exactly what to do against this like
it was cool
overpowered strategy. But
well,
like,
and it's like, right. What are your other options? To run it, like be an idiot and get hit? Like, that's it. And a lot of people do that, dude. A lot of people fucking do that.
It's crazy that I actually want to know what characters can parry that back air and get a punish. There are going to be some characters that can, but remember, most characters have to like parry into a dash attack or something like that, right?
Probably
and you're on the ground when you parry. So it's like, can you do a parry jump aerial that can get to Steve drifting backwards after the bear? I don't know. But I'm assuming
probably do it.
What?
Fox.
What bear? Bear's pretty big. I mean, like I said, I don't know exactly what characters can do it, but I'm just saying, like, if the bear is like pretty far back, like it's to me in my brain or in my head, it feels like it would be hard to punish. Like you need something that's like it's a fast aerial going forward, and it needs to have a lot of range going forward. Fox Fair might be something that is because it's frame 5. Fox Fair is pretty big, so off that initial jump, right? But like again, Diamond Bears.
Oh, any other character that can punish it is any character with a counter. Which
parry counter.
it's really strange that people still don't do that in 2025.
It's crazy,
I guess
dude.
you just forget about it.
I guess, yeah. There's so many parry OSs that people don't use, but yes, there are parry option selects that are very strong that were discovered within the first 6 months of the game that people don't use. But yes,
I actually forgot about parry counter until you said, I wonder who could do it, and I was like, who can do it?
I mean, I didn't even remember. It's a good call out. Yeah, that's a great point.
So it's getting late here. I think we might need to do a part 2 of this episode if y'all are down. VoiD, I don't know what your schedule's like, but maybe we can figure something out. I'd love to do a part 2. We could talk offline and figure it out. Don't need to.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome.
Nope.
I would love to do that because there's so much more to talk about with this bracket, with everything else. And I think the bottom line from today is that we're all super proud of Big Gav. Think he did a good job over there, all that good stuff. And excited.
Shout out to Wrath too.
Yeah,
bro,
like I am
real.
a huge Sonic complainer. I bitch about that character. Steve has taken its slot or Sonic slot for some time now, but I don't like that character. But I do believe that no matter the character, like if you're NA, I'm gonna cheer for you. You know what I mean? So I was rooting for Sonics. I was rooting for Wrath. And I've seen, we've all seen Wrath play since he was pretty much a kid. So it's really sick to watch him grow as a competitor. And I think Wrath had a great bracket. And I think Wrath could have potentially even been in grand finals. I really do think that. And I do think he has the caliber to go that far. And I honestly was surprised that Raru was able to beat him. If I was betting there, and this is not me betting with my heart, I would have bet Wrath.
I would have bet Wrath, yeah.
I was betting Wrath.
Yeah, I would bet Wrath. And I mean, he's probably kicking himself because he knows that matchup's. I actually don't know if he knows, but I'm assuming that matchup's pretty good for Sonic.
It is, yeah. It's I think they have it as Luigi's worst matchup. I'm pretty sure they've played before, and Wrath has beaten him before. I'm almost positive. Maybe, good old what do they call it? Smashers App.
Smashers App, baby.
Raru.
Dare you?
They are 1-1 in sets. Yep, 1-1 in sets. Wrath beat him the first time they played. I thought so, but I wanted to check and be sure.
Damn, I didn't even know that, and I bet Wrath. That's crazy. If I knew that he also had a set win, I was like, damn, for sure. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Wrath.
Also,
yeah, go for it.
Shout out Big Boss.
Yes.
Facing Mexican player.
Yeah.
At Kagaribi.
He's been on the grind.
Got 17th in a tournament this stacked.
Beat
with
Zachary,
Spargo, Leo, and Meister present. Big Boss got 17th.
Good shit.
I think it's a great run. I think people
Totally
don't talk too much about it either.
Yeah. Last thing for me, at least, did y'all see that graphic? If I saw this. If I saw this, it would be a top 8. If you told me this were a top 8 of a major, I would believe you. And it's light, Spargo, Zachary, Yarda, Neo, Jazzo, all the people who got 33rd, but it's just not top 8. Dude, think about that. Light
Mars.
Spargo, Light Spargo, Zachary, Yada, Neo, Jazzo. I can't remember. There's one other person.
Lima.
Maybe was it Lima?
Lima's 33rd.
That could be a top 8, and it's 33rd.
What a time, bro! All those 33rds, and we found the source file for the Mars 33rd image within the same week. That's insane.
That's so funny.
That was very funny. That I'm sure he loved that and thought that was also hilarious. That is resurfacing.
Generational meme. 33rd.
I'm sorry, Ty. It's funny. Anyway, let's keep talking Kagaribi, guys. I think that was really fun. But it's getting late for some of us. So
yeah, we can wrap it up and do a part 2.
Sure. I would love a part 2.
I'll work with your guys' schedules. Make it easy.
We'll have our people contact your people.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds good.
All right.
We'll have Chuck talk with Charles.
Hey.
Marcus Mumbles. Pass Heckles. VoiD voices. Thanks for joining us, y'all. We miss Gavin on the podcast too. We hear y'all. He'll be back soon. Can't wait to catch up with him and all that good shit. Until then, we'll catch you later. See you.